In every town, there's a story untold, hidden behind the smiling faces of its residents, buried beneath the dust of its ancient streets. But in the town of Evergreen, the secret didn't sleep. It woke up every night with the stroke of midnight. Faint whispers would creep out from the old walls, seep through the windows, and weave a web of terror and fear around hearts that could no longer rest. Whispers whose origin no one knew, nor what they demanded. They spoke of old crimes, buried secrets, and a history yet to be written. This is not just a legend, but a harsh reality narrated by the cold winds, an echo of a silent crime that has been lingering for over 50 years. Evergreen, where a secret sleeps, on a whisper, content. Elia and the whispers of the past, Elia, arrive in Evergreen, seeking tranquility after the bustle of her life as an investigative journalist in the big city. She inherited her grandmother's old house overlooking the river, a haven of memories she never experienced. On the first night, she awoke to the sound of a faint whisper, like the rustling of autumn leaves. She couldn't make out the words, but a chill ran down her spine. The following night, it happened again. The sound became clearer and more sorrowful, like an old woman weeping for something she had lost. Elia couldn't resist her journalistic curiosity. She began her search at the old town library, where Miss Elizabeth, the librarian, sat. She was an old woman whose eyes held more stories than the shelves themselves. Elizabeth was hesitant at first, looking around nervously whenever Elia mentioned the whispers. After persistent questioning, she whispered about a mysterious murder in 1975. The victim was a young girl named Lillian, a talented pianist who vanished under strange circumstances. Her body never found. Her boyfriend, Arthur, was accused of the crime, but the evidence was insufficient, and he was released shortly after. Then Arthur died in a mysterious car accident, and the case was closed. Elia felt this was the thread she needed. She started looking for anything related to Lillian. In the town records, she found the address of Lillian's house, an old, abandoned place on the outskirts of town. Elia decided to visit it. The atmosphere was desolate, and dust covered everything. In the living room, Elia found Lillian's old piano. As she ran her fingers over the keys, which were almost consumed by rust, she heard the whispers again. But this time they were clearer. As she ran her fingers over the keys, which were almost consumed by rust, she heard the whispers again. But this time they were clear. The box ... under the ground, next to the tree ... double. Quotes. Elia moved quickly toward the house's backyard. There was a huge oak tree, its massive roots intertwined like hands gripping the earth. She started digging beside it, and after some effort, found an old decaying wooden box. Inside, Elia found Lillian's diary, filled with her beautiful handwriting and a photo of her with a strange man she didn't know. It wasn't Arthur. Lillian wrote about her love for another man, Charles, who was wealthy and married, and his threats to her if she ever thought of revealing their relationship. While reading, Elia felt someone watching her. She looked up and saw an old man in a black hat standing at the gate. He stared at her with a sharp look, then vanished into the darkness. Elia felt afraid, but realized she was getting closer to the truth. The next day, she read in the old records that Charles was the name of the former town mayor, known for his power and influence. He had a young son, Andrew, who was now one of Evergreen's most prominent businessmen. Elia realized that Charles was behind Lillian's disappearance and that someone was still protecting this secret. Elia received an anonymous, threatening message telling her to drop the matter. But she couldn't stop. Lillian's whispers were haunting her, as if asking her to finish her mission. Elia decided to confront Andrew. In his luxurious office, she met him with a fake smile, but his eyes held the same sharp look she had seen in the garden. Elia showed him Lillian's photo and asked him directly about his father's connection to the crime. At the moment, the truth emerged. Andrew confessed that his father had hidden Lillian's body with the help of his close friend, Ernest, who was none other than Elia's own great-grandfather. This secret was what drove Ernest to leave the town with his family, leaving behind a sense of guilt that was never forgiven. They weren't just from Lillian's spirit, but also from Ernest's conscience, which continued to haunt Elia. The justice awakened by whispers. Thus, we reached the end of our story in the town of Evergreen. The whispers were not just sounds of terror, but an echo of long-awaited justice, a cry from the past to correct a wrong that had never been forgiven. After Elia revealed the truth, Andrew confessed to his father's crime, and Lillian's body was found in a location Charles had hidden it. Finally, silence reigned at midnight, and the whispers stopped. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for following this journey full of mystery and suspense. Your presence and support are the fuel that ignites our stories. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon to be the first to discover the secrets of our new stories. We would also be delighted if you shared your beautiful opinions and comments, which enrich our content.